I kept stones for 70 years thinking it was just some silly kid habit. Only found out my mama left messages on them after she'd been dead 27 years. And shoot, I couldn't even read good back then. But she found a way to talk to me anyway. Name's Frank. I'm 79 years old and I'm sitting here on the front porch of the house where I've lived these past 20 years, in this old rocking chair that's probably older than I am. Afternoon sun hits just right here. This is my favorite spot. Got this rusty old biscuit tin on my lap, one of those old-timey ones, you know? Full of stones I've been collecting since I was little. Was gonna throw this tin away today. Thought to myself, what's the point taking these rocks to the nursing home? Last week I left the stove on by mistake. My kids got all worried, said it was time for me to go. Can't blame them. Just think they don't understand that forgetting things ain't the same as giving up on living. Thank the Lord, Mrs. Davis came by to say goodbye. If it wasn't for her, I never would have known I spent my whole life carrying love letters from my mama. If you're liking this story, go ahead and give it a like so it can reach more folks who might need to hear this. Let me shake this tin here. Y'all listen to this sound of the stones hitting each other. Pretty sound, ain't it? For decades, it was like my childhood coming back to me. Every time I shook that tin, I remembered Colonel Thompson's plantation, where I spent my growing up years. Smell of wet dirt after it rained, sound of the hoe hitting that hard ground, little hands that hurt something fierce from all that work. That was my life there. The colonel wouldn't even let me use my real name, just called me boy or kid. People like you were born to work, he'd say. Don't need no proper name, don't need no schooling, don't need nothing but work. I was handed over to him when I was 6. My mama, Mary, was a widow woman and couldn't afford to raise a boy by herself. The colonel paid $500 for me like I was livestock. For more than 70 years I carried that weight. I was sold because I was a burden, one less mouth to feed. First stone I picked up was when I was 8, right after a real hard day of work. Little piece of quartz that sparkled in the sun. Kept it in my torn pants pocket. At night, in that old barn where we slept, me and about 5 other boys in the same fix, I'd look at it. Seemed like it had its own light. The colonel always said I wasn't worth nothing, less than nothing. But that little stone, it was beautiful. And it was mine. Only thing in the whole world that belonged to just me. Quit wasting time with them rocks, boy, he'd holler when he caught me collecting. Born workers supposed to work, not play around. Then came the whipping. Belt, switch, whatever he could grab. But I couldn't stop picking up pretty stones. Something inside me just knew they were important. Kept them all in this old tin I found in the trash. At night, when everybody was sleeping, I'd open it real quiet and look at each one. Different kinds, some clear, some pink, little crystals, smooth ones from the creek. Each one was beautiful in its own way, and they all had these little marks. Scratches I always figured were just natural cracks. Never thought it could be something else. Grew up on that plantation, working sun up to sundown. Fields, livestock, cleaning, hauling, did it all. Colonel never paid me a dime, said food and a place to sleep was enough for somebody who wasn't worth nothing anyway. When I turned 25, first time in my life, I spoke up. Colonel, how come the other workers get paid and I don't? Boy, you should have seen his face, turned red as a beet. You questioning me, boy? After everything I done for you? Get your things and get out. Don't want to see your face around here no more. That's how I left the plantation in 1971, with nothing but the clothes on my back and my tin of stones. Didn't have nowhere to go, didn't know nobody outside that place. Walked down the road till I got to town, found work at a garage, learned about fixing cars. Married a good woman, Helen, had kids, built myself a life. But I always kept that tin with me. Every place I lived, it came too. Helen thought it was odd, but she didn't mind. Those are your lucky stones, she'd say with a smile. Never told nobody where they came from, not even her. Hurt too much to talk about the plantation. Helen passed 15 years ago. Kids grew up, got married, got their own troubles. I got lonelier and lonelier. Just me and my stones. Yesterday, when I was packing to go to the nursing home, Mrs. Davis came by to say goodbye. She's 90 years old, known our family since I moved here. Tiny little thing, but smart as a whip. Had my tin open when she walked up. "What pretty stones, Frank," she said. "Mind if I look at one?" Picked up one of them and showed her. Small piece with scratches I'd always thought looked interesting. Mrs. Davis took it, held it up to her glasses, studied it real careful. All of a sudden, she got this strange look. Picked up another stone, then another. "Frank, where'd you get these stones?" "Oh, Mrs. Davis, been collecting them since I was little back at the plantation. Always liked pretty rocks." She didn't say nothing for the longest time, just kept turning them stones over, looking at the scratches. I held my breath, watching her face change. Then she said something that nearly knocked me clean out of my chair. "Frank, your mama scratched these stones. This was her way of sending you messages." Had to catch my breath to keep listening. Felt like the world was spinning. "What you mean, Mrs. Davis?" "My grandmama worked in the same house as your mama, Mary. They were friends. Grandmama told me this story when I was young, how Mary found a way to talk to the son who'd been taken to the plantation. Just think about that. 70 years believing I was thrown away like trash. Come to find out my mama spent her whole life trying to talk to me, leaving little messages on every stone I found." "How'd she do it, Mrs. Davis?" "Your mama got work as a house cleaner near the plantation 6 years after you were taken. Sometimes she could get close to the fence, acted like she was looking for kindling or herbs. The lady of the house let her, 'cause she knew what had happened. That's how she left stones with numbers scratched on them where she knew you'd be working. Mrs. Davis told me my mama always found ways to learn where I'd be working next day. Sometimes a washerwoman would tell her. Other times the colonel himself would brag in town about the work he gave his boys. That's how she knew where to leave the stones." "Look here, Frank," Mrs. Davis said, holding up one stone. "This one's got the number 10 scratched on it. That's how old you were when she first saw you from far off after you were taken." Took that stone in my hand, ran my finger over the scratch. 10 years old. I remember that day. Was working near the fence, pulling weeds when I saw a woman across the road. She stood there a long time looking my way. Thought she was just being nosy. Never knew. "And this one with 15, Mrs. Davis kept going. "She counted your birthdays, even though she couldn't wish you happy birthday. This one with 20, and this one with 25. Every number she said felt like a punch in the gut. My mama following my life from far away, counting each year, each birthday she missed. "And this stone with the 2, Frank. She left this when you were about 20. Stood for the $2,000 she'd saved trying to buy you back." $2,000. 4 times what she got for me. Picture a woman working dawn to dusk, saving every penny, dreaming of getting her boy back. Did she really try, Mrs. Davis? She sure did. When you turned 22, she went to the colonel, took that money in a cloth sack, all hopeful, but he laughed right in her face. Said you'd grown up, become a man worth way more now. Said she'd never save enough. Another punch, my mama standing there with her hard-earned money, begging to have me back, and him just laughing at her. "Mrs. Davis, can I ask you something? How do you know all this?" "'Cause your mama came crying to my grandmama after, told her everything. Grandmama's the one said to keep leaving stones, even if just so you'd know somebody cared. Your mama always said, even if my boy don't understand now, someday he'll know a mama never forgets." Started crying right there, at 79 years old, crying like a baby. But it wasn't sad tears, it was relief. Whole life carrying the weight of being thrown away, being worthless. Come to find out I was loved all along. "There's more, Frank." Mrs. Davis picked up a different stone. Rose-colored one, worked on more careful than the others. "This one's special." Took it in my hand. Heavy, real smooth, sparkled different from the rest. "Your mama had my grandmama take this stone to the plantation right before she died. She was real sick by then, still working, but knowing her time was short. Look what's carved here." Held that stone up close. Had the number 1 scratched real careful, and next to it a tiny heart. Small, but perfect. Means you were always number 1 in her heart, and that little heart was the last thing she made thinking of you. Died in 1980, wore herself out trying to save money to find you. Couldn't say a word. Just sat there holding that stone, thinking about my mama at the end, sick and weak, still thinking about me, still trying to send love. "Mrs. Davis, when I left the plantation in 1971, was my mama still alive?" "She was. Matter of fact, she found out you'd left. Got real hopeful thinking she could find you easier. She'd been living here in town 6 years by then, working and saving. Did she find me? Mrs. Davis looked sad. Almost, Frank, real close. Then she told me the hardest part. When I left the plantation, my mama heard about it from the colonel, who went around town bragging how he'd run off that ungrateful boy. She was scared but happy too, thinking it'd be easier to find me now. Found out I was living in town, working at Tony's garage. Even went there a few times, but I was always out on a job when she came by. Didn't want to leave word because she was afraid of scaring me or me not believing. Your mama rented a little house on Rose Street, number 47. You lived on St. Joseph Street, number 23, just a few blocks apart. Few blocks. And we never ran into each other. She lived there 9 years, working as a maid, washing clothes, cleaning houses, every day thinking of ways to reach you, but she was shy, scared you might reject her. After all, she's the one who gave you away. And I was right around the corner, didn't know nothing. That's right, life can be cruel that way. When you moved to Atlanta for work, your mama was heartbroken. Thought she'd lost her last chance. Got sick soon after. I remember that year, working at a big garage in Atlanta, making good money, sending some home to Helen and the babies, happy as could be, building my future. And my mama was dying of heartbreak 400 miles away. Mrs. Davis, did you know my mama personal? I did. She was tiny like me now. Always wore her hair back, hands all rough from work. But she had these eyes as they'd light up when she talked about her boy. Said someday she'd find you, was sure of it. What was she like? Sweet as pie. But sad, you know. Carried sadness you could see from across the room. My grandmama said she cried every day but never complained. Worked humming soft, always the same songs. What songs? Lullabies. Said she used to sing them to you when you were a baby. Kept singing them, hoping to sing them again someday. Now I was really crying, couldn't stop. Thinking about my mama singing lullabies to a boy who wasn't there, working herself to death, dreaming of seeing me again. Frank, can I tell you one more thing? Your mama left a letter. My grandmama kept it for years, then gave it to me. Been saving it, waiting for the right time. She pulled from her pocket a yellow envelope, small with my name written shaky, for my little boy Frank. Last words from Mary. Took that letter with shaking hands. Want me to read it now? However you want, Frank. No hurry. Opened it slow, written in pencil, simple writing. My dear little boy, if you're reading this, God helped you find the stones I left all these years. Know you always loved pretty rocks, even when you were tiny, was your favorite thing. Want you to know not a day passed I didn't think about you. Gave you to the colonel 'cause I couldn't feed you. But it was the hardest thing I ever done. Cried every day since. Tried to save money to get you back, but never had enough. Colonel always wanted more, but never stopped looking for you. Son, life's hard, but a mama never forgets. If you got children someday, tell them about your mama. Tell them she loved you more than anything in this world. Tell them a mama's heart never forgets, even when her arms can't hold you. Forgive your mama for not being strong enough to keep you safe. But know you were always my greatest joy. All my love forever, your mama Mary. Couldn't finish reading out loud. Was sobbing, holding that letter to my chest. Mrs. Davis came over and put her hand on my shoulder. She loved you something fierce, Frank. Something fierce. We sat quiet for a while. Me holding the letter and her beside me, letting me hurt. Sun was going down, sky turning orange. After Mrs. Davis left, stayed on that porch till dark, handling my stones, reading that letter over and over. Spent 79 years thinking I wasn't worth nothing. Colonel always said I was born to work, should be grateful for food and shelter. But now I know I was always loved. My mama died loving me, looking for me, leaving proof of love in every stone I found. You know what gets me most? All these years I slept holding one of them stones. Don't know why I always picked the same one, the one with the heart scratched on it. Like my heart knew my mama's love, even when my head didn't understand. Called my kids this morning, told them everything. They were shocked. My oldest boy Robert cried on the phone. Dad, I'm sorry we wanted to put you in that home. We didn't know none of this. It's all right, son. Y'all did what you thought was best, but I want to stay here a while longer now. Got some things to take care of. This morning my kids came over, brought the grandbabies too. Told them the whole story, showed every stone, read them the letter from the great-grandmama they never knew. My little grandson Johnny, he's 8, picked up the stone with the heart. Grandpa, your mama must have loved you a whole lot to do all this. She did, buddy. She sure did. Now I'm here, late afternoon again, looking at the garden we started today. Each stone's gonna have its special place. Gonna plant flowers around them, make a little sign telling about Mary. Funny how life works, ain't it? That tin I was fixing to throw away was my greatest treasure. All these years, I wasn't some thrown-away boy. I was a boy waiting to be found. You know what moves me most? Finding out I never was mad at my mama, even thinking I'd been tossed aside. Deep down, I always knew she loved me. That's why I kept them stones so careful. A boy's heart knows these things, even when his head don't understand. Thank you, Mama, got all your messages, and now I know, always knew in my heart, I was your most precious boy. And you listening to this, ever think about whether something that seems worthless in your life might actually be the biggest proof of love somebody could give you?